In Jesus. There's power in the name of.
It's hard to believe it, and I'm gonna tell you, there are things that they talk about being discoveries that I find hard to believe sometimes. Some things are just very, very difficult. But in Acts chapter 26, verse 8, it says this: "Why should it be thought a thing incredible with you that God should raise the dead?" Why? And that's a question that Paul is obviously presenting to the Roman leaders at that time. But why is it such a difficult thing to consider that God could raise the dead? Why is that hard? Let me just share this with you. My mother, back in 2012, she died in my arms. Literally died in my arms. We were getting off a train down in our hometown of Palatka, Florida, waiting for the train to pull into the station, and she collapsed in my arm. We had to wait for the train to pull in the station and for them to get a platform so that they could get her off the train. They laid her on the ground there. They called the paramedics from the local hospital. They came. They put me in the emergency van, and while they worked on her there on the ground in Palatka, Florida, and they worked on her for about a half an hour. And they were able to resuscitate her. And then we went to the hospital, and they was there able to stabilize her. So they proved at that time that man has the technology and the ability to resuscitate or resurrect people that have died. We hear about it all the time. There are many stories about people that have died and now they return back to life. So it's not something that is an anomaly. No, it happens on a regular basis. People come in and then their vital signs are showing death, but because of the tenacity, determination, the technology, and the skill of the staff that's working on them, the doctors and the nurses and all of those that are along with them, if they get them and they're able on them, oh my God, people could personally be dead a half an hour, be dead an hour, but when they are committed and they see some evidence of life being returned, they continue to work.
Yes.
They continue to work. And so even when a person is brought to them dead, they look to see if there's a possibility.
Yes.
Man looks for a possibility for resurrection. Why should we think it's impossible for God to resurrect someone? Why is it out of the realm of imagination? If men could go into work on today, no matter what kind of life they live, but now they're presented with an emergency situation. And you heard cold blue or cold red, and then let know, and you have to get stacked, that you have to get to a particular area fast because someone is facing right now transitioning from life into eternity.
Yes.
And they go to work to get their spirit back. If men could do that, though we realize it's temporary, but if they're able to do that, what could God do?
Yes.
And that's why we believe in the resurrection of the dead. Another reason why we could look at it and have more awareness of the possibility of it is because God created the universe.
Yes.
If you can believe that God created the universe, I mean, when you look at the vastness of it, oh my God, they're now saying that though our Milky Way, which is the solar system that we're in, the galaxy that we're in, when they look at that, and then they peer as deep in space as they can with these powerful microscopes. And then even with some of the spacecraft, the space vehicles that they have traveling, and they're able to peer into the deep space, and they're able to share, wow, there's more than just one galaxy. There's more than just one solar system. There's more than 100 solar systems. There's more than 1 million solar systems. There's more than 1 billion solar systems. I heard this morning that there are trillions of solar systems. I mean, solar systems that's even larger than the one that we're in, that are out there. And it seems that the further that they're able to look out into space, the greater it is. And just think, God created it. If God could create this, and I mean, we just even if you don't want to even consider what's going on out in space, just consider what life is here on Earth. I mean, the different variety of life, the plant life, the animal life. You look at the difference between the mountains and then the ocean. You look at all of the different things that are occurring. You see the march of the season. You notice the time spans as it moves on, and how we have this recurring theme of summer and autumn and winter and spring. This recurring theme, year after year, somebody had to put it in place. And if you can believe that God made this world, you believe God put people here on this earth, you believe God is the one that is responsible for everything that we experience, and He sustains it and holds it. Why can't you believe that He's going to resurrect the dead? Why do you think it's impossible? Because someone who has no understanding of God, no awareness of God, no even affection toward God, say, no, it can't possibly happen. Why? God, another reason why we can believe that it's possible is because God is the one that gives life. He's the one that sustains life. So if He gave life to us in the beginning, just think. We're just a product of our mother and our father coming together. Where birth happens. We're conceived and we're birthed. Isn't that a miracle? Isn't that a wonder how that happens? But God, He does it. Two dogs come together, they produce a dog. Two cats come together, they produce a cat. Two humans come together, they produce a human. Why in the world can't two dogs come together and they present a cat? Why would that ever happen? Because God has already established life in the pattern of life. You may ask, who will be included in the resurrection? That should be all of our concern. Who's going to be included? Pastor, there's some people that I don't know. I see their life, and how in the world could they be resurrected by God? As bad as they live, how in the world could they be resurrected by God? But here's what God says in Acts chapter 26. Excuse me, Acts chapter 24. Acts chapter 24. Acts 24, verse 15. Here's what it says. And have hope toward God, which they themselves also allow, that there shall be a resurrection of the dead, both of the just and the unjust. So here it is, Paul is sharing that there is a resurrection of the dead. It's for everybody. Whether you are a believer or a non-believer. So those that refute the argument that there is a resurrection, we don't have to argue with them. We don't have to try to substantiate or try to prove anything. No, they're going to wake up one day and realize that they were wrong.
Yes.
Those that have this doubt, this question, or really that just refuse to believe that God is going to resurrect them, they're going to find out one day that He's going to resurrect the just and the unjust. So why was He doing? Why would God resurrect the just and why not just leave the unjust dead? Why not just allow them to stay dead, to stay dormant, to just pass on off the scene? Or why raise up the righteous? Well, why in the world is there this resurrection? Why is it necessary for us? I mean, when we don't live this life, why in the world we want to live again? And I know some people that may be asking that question. I don't want to live again because their life has been so miserable. They've gone through so many challenges and problems. They're experiencing so much trouble. They say, listen, there's been too much trauma in my life. I don't want to live again. But we don't make that designation. We don't make that decision. God has already declared it. Here's why there is a resurrection for everyone.
Yes.
Everyone. Whether you are Jew or Gentile. Whether you are Catholic, Hebrew, whether you are agnostic or atheist, whether you are Episcopalian or whether you're Lutheran, whether you are Buddhist, no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Pentecostal, Baptist, there is going to be a resurrection for everyone.
Yes.
Why? To fulfill God's promise. God promised that He's going to resurrect us. That is a promise. We don't have to question it. I'm going to tell you, God don't lie. God don't make idle promises or idle threats. No, He promised that He's going to resurrect us. It is part of His willingness to show and demonstrate His love towards those He loves, those that He cares about, those that He wants to spend eternity with. God loves you. God cares about you. And so He wants to spend eternity with you.
Yes.
So therefore He promised you that will resurrect you. Yeah, this body is going to decay. Yeah, this body is going to, get old and it's going to go back to the dust. But listen, God is going to resurrect us to spend eternity with Him. Those that love Him. Another reason why God resurrects everyone is to judge everyone. We all shall be judged. The Bible lets us know we shall be judged for the deeds that we do in our body. So a reason for the resurrection of our body is so that our body can experience the judgment or be held accountable for the things that we have done. Oh yeah, you may have thought no one saw what you did. You may have thought you've gotten away with it and you have lived years. I mean, just think. Yesterday, there's a news story about this man that was arrested for raping a woman. But he raped her, I think, about 30 years ago. But they finally got some DNA evidence because when she got raped all those years ago, they had a rape kit. And they took the DNA and all of the other things that they were able to get, and they held it and they kept it. And so now, and they put it into a database. Then finally, here 30-some years later, a man that thought he got away with it. Thought that he had did a deed and that he would be able to move on through life without being caught. He did not know that accountability would happen in his life while he yet lived. God has a way of catching us.
Yes.
God has a way of watching us. Now, don't only think about the negative, but I'm going to tell you, there's some good things that people do that nobody know about. And God wants to reward you for those good things. God wants to let you know that He appreciates the fact that you have demonstrated love and compassion and care for others. I mean, with people that others have walked around have ignored, but yet somehow the compassion in your heart have caused you to extend a hand of help and grace towards someone that was in need. God saw you. Yeah, you may have slipped them something and did not want anyone else to know, but God knows it. Yeah, there are people that are doing things behind the scene. It's not being broadcast. It's not being shared and proclaimed into the wider audience, but the God in heaven, his eyes see all, and every good thing you do, God has it recorded, and he's going to reward you for those things. And even when you do good things and people, they don't appreciate it. Yeah, there are people that you have helped, and they just don't appreciate it, but God sees what you've done. God knows the care and the concern that you have and the heart that you have. He knows the love that's filled in your heart, and you try to share it, but sometimes people don't appreciate it, but God does. And he wants you to know you may be shedding tears on your pillow tonight because you have been rejected and been kicked aside. But he said, I love you and I'm going to reward you greatly because you have loved and shown love. He's going to resurrect you even though this world want to kick you to the side. Even though this world want to step on you because you have been faithful to God, because you love and show love and compassion to others. God is going to resurrect just so he can put a crown on you. He resurrects everybody because he wants to reward everybody according to what they do in their body. He also, another thing about this resurrection, the resurrection of the dead is to sustain our future expectation. He gives us this promise of resurrection to help us to hold on to what's going to happen in the future. And I mentioned earlier about some people looking forward to the end of this separation, this isolation, this I guess some people call it an incarceration. But we're looking for the time where we will be released and able to share and able to once again engage with everybody. But God give us a reason and give us a hope in the resurrection. In 1 Peter chapter 1, 1 Peter chapter 1, it says this, 1 Peter chapter 1. And I'm going to read from verse 3, and I'm reading from the Good News Bible, the Good News Bible. 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 3 through 5, it says this. Let us give thanks to the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ. Because of his great mercy, he gave us new life by raising Jesus Christ from the dead. This fills us with a living hope. And so we look forward to possessing the rich blessings that God keeps for his people. He keeps them for you in heaven, where they cannot decay or spoil or fade away. They are for you, who through faith are kept safe by God's power for the salvation which is ready to be revealed at the end of time. Notice, it fills us with a living hope. This resurrection, I'm going to tell you, when there is these challenges that we're facing, and maybe there are times that we do get a little bit overwrought with the anguish of this world, but yet there's the anticipation of the resurrection. So sometimes it appears that those that do wicked are receiving good, and those that do evil, they seem to be advancing and accelerating and progressing. But yet as we try to live a good life, we just run into one bump after another, one obstacle after another. And sometimes you're ready to give up, you're ready to surrender, you're ready to say, is it worth it? We have to hold on to this living hope. Hold on to this belief in God, this trust in God. We have to have this commitment. Hold on to God. Oh yes, and why does it sustain, and we need this to sustain our future expectation? It's to encourage us to remain faithful when you're tempted. Oh yeah, there are times that we get tempted. There's times that on his side, we got to be very careful. He's crafty. He do not want us to experience what God has for us. The enemy knows what is in heaven. Yes. He's been there. Yes. He knows the blessings that God has in store for those that he's waiting to receive. The enemy, the devil, knows already the wonders of God's glory. Yes. And so he wants to rob us. He wants to keep us separated from God. He don't want us to enjoy a fruitful life, a enjoyable life, a peaceful life. He wants us to have a life where we celebrate God, where we live wicked and where we live in a way, in a manner where we allow the promise and the hope of God to escape us. He wants to make decisions to satisfy this flesh, the present life that we're living in. Yes. He wanted to cause us problems. Please don't allow him to do that. Don't let him steal your future from you. I mean, it's like somebody that you may go to school, and some of us that may have gone to school with some friends that had no interest in school at all. And they laugh at you for going to school. Amen. If you get good grades, they laugh at you. I mean, even though they fail and they flunk it out, they laugh at you. Right. They do all they can to ridicule, to try to make it seem like it's cool to be, in the park rather than in the classroom. Yeah. They make it look cool. And I remember those days. Oh yeah, especially around June and one of the classes that I had, it was the class was right over the basketball court. And while I'm in class in June and in the school I was in, they did not have air conditioning in those days. And in June it got hot. In New York City it got hot. And there you're in the classroom, you're trying to study, and you look out the window and see those playing on their playground. And you knew they should have been in class with you. The devil does that. He tries to seduce us into thinking, listen, enjoy life now because that's all there is. Yes. Don't let him cheat you. Another reason why God gives us this future expectation is to help us during times of trouble, during times of anguish and pain, during times where you're going through some very hard and difficult times, when you're experiencing grief and sorrow at the loss of a loved one. When you see the anguish that they experience and you know you're separated from someone that you love and you will not see them again on this side of glory. Oh, God gives you this anticipation and expectation of hope. I know some of you want to see your mother again. Some of you want to see your father again. Some of you want to see your siblings or your children again. Some of you want to see your spouse again. I'm telling you, there's a hope. That when we leave this life, there's going to be a great reunion. And I know some of us are looking for that family reunion, seeing grandma, seeing some of our aunts and uncles that's going on already to be with the Lord. Maybe they were not connected with you by blood relative. It could be a friend that you was dealing with. It could be a co-worker that you had such affinity and affection for. But there are people that were dear to your heart that you know you would not see again, not able to converse and talk or engage with. But God has now given us a living hope that there's going to be a day, like the song said, when we all get to heaven. Yes. What a day of rejoicing it's going to be. Oh my God, it's going to be a great day when we're able to celebrate. No more pain, no more hurt, no more disappointment, no more broken hearts, no more broken dreams, no more sickness and death. There's no more. Because God promised us a living hope. Yes. A hope that sustains us during troubled times. Your bank account is empty. They're right now threatening you with eviction. But you know, my God, I got a living hope. Yes. I got a home in heaven that I will never be evicted from. Yes. Oh, yeah. There's a living hope God give us to help us sustain us as we go through the storms of life, go through the troubles and the trials and the tests and the difficulties. God has given you a living hope. So you don't give up, don't surrender, don't throw in the towel. God is on your side. Yes. God is saying, hold on. to sustain our future expectation. Some of us don't have anything to look forward to in this life right now. I mean, some of you look at what's around you.
Yes.
And it looks bad.
Yes.
Your situation looks horrible. Don't look like it's going to get any better. It seems like you're in a spiraling condition, just spiraling deeper and deeper and deeper into trouble and into darkness. But God gives you a living hope to hold on to his promise. He has something better for you. Oh, you may not experience some of the pleasures of this world. You may not be able to lie on the beaches in the French Riviera or ride the yachts that some of the rich people have or fly first class in a plane. You may not be able to do that. You may not have more than one pair of shoes in your closet.
Yes, amen.
May not have but one suit, and you may just barely got enough for dinner on tonight, or maybe don't even have dinner, wondering about it. But God wants you to know that he has a living hope for you to help sustain you when the devil is trying to beat you down, trying to cause you to abort your life and your future. The resurrection of Jesus Christ. And not only the resurrection of Jesus Christ, but our resurrection. See, the resurrection of the saints. Oh, no, let me see. I'm going to stop right there.
Amen.
Say it again, Jesus. There's power in the name of